Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line. I'm David Hart, Executive Vice President here at the Florida Chamber of Commerce, and our special guest today is the Chairman of the State Affairs Committee in the Florida House, Representative Matt Caldwell. Matt, welcome to the program.
Thank you, David. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you with us. Representative, you have really distinguished yourself as one of the experts on water policy in the Florida House. I think we all know that water is important to Florida's overall economy, and the Speaker and the Senate President have made it a top issue for this session to adopt a long-term comprehensive water supply plan for our state. What do you see happening this year on that topic?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is a major commitment on behalf of the House and the Senate. We're going to have a plan ultimately rolled out of both chambers and hopefully become law that addresses our long-term needs in water supply. As we've grown now to just about 20 million people, that's a huge number, and the demand's only going to increase, and we've got to make sure we plan for the future.
You talk about Florida's population growing, and certainly that's the case. We're going to have 5 to 7 million more people by 2030 as citizens of our state. We'll have increased demands on our use that will probably go from 7 billion gallons a day now to 9 billion gallons a day in 2030. What should we be doing to make Florida better prepared for that, and so that we don't harm our opportunities for economic growth the way California did, for example?
Absolutely. We've got to start planning and building alternative water supply sources. We've run out of the easy water, as it were. I mean, we're not in a crisis mode, but we definitely look and say, hey, you're going to grow by another 50% in the next 20 years. We've got to be able to meet those demands, and traditional groundwater sources or surface water sources are being maxed out, not only for our citizens, but we also have to make sure we maintain supply for agriculture and for the national environment that everybody comes here to enjoy.
Well, that's right, and I want to ask you a little bit about implementation of Amendment 1. For our viewers who may not remember, Amendment 1 called for utilizing 33% of the revenue from dock stamps that come in each year into Florida's coffers, that those monies be set aside and dedicated to purchases of land and water. At the Florida Chamber, we opposed that constitutional amendment this past year because we felt it tied the hands of the legislature and your ability to craft a budget. Having said that, the voters have spoken and they passed it. It's now time to implement it, and that'll be an issue before the legislature this session. What can we expect on implementation of Amendment 1, and what's the right thing to do?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree and did agree with the Chamber's position that putting a budget item in the Constitution is just not the appropriate way to deal with the issue. But it is there, and we're going to implement the law. I think the biggest thing for people to understand, and there's no new money. This is just a reallocation of an existing tax. So we're going to have to crack open the budget and a lot of the assumptions that have been operated upon over the last 20 years and reconfigure those, the trust funds and the way monies are spent on different land acquisition and conservation programs. The state spends a lot of money and a lot of time already on natural resource issues, and so this will really open the whole box and open the debate about which parts are the most valuable.
Chairman, we look forward to working with you on implementation of Amendment 1 and, of course, this broader, comprehensive water policy for Florida's future. Thank you very much. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us on another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.